When you picture a bustling restaurant kitchen, there's a very specific sensory expectation that comes to mind. It's all heat and motion.
Oh, yeah, like the sizzle of a hot pan or a chef calling out tickets.
Right. Servers rushing in and out of the swinging doors. It's this very physical, loud, almost analog kind of chaos.
Yeah, you can see and smell exactly how the business is running. I mean, you can really feel the energy of a Friday night rush in a room like that.
Exactly. But if you step into a kitchen today, the most powerful force in that room, the thing dictating the pace, the revenue, the very survival of the business, isn't physical at all.
No, it's completely invisible.
Yeah, it's this quiet digital ecosystem operating on a little tablet shoved in the corner, and it is dictating exactly what you are going to eat for dinner tonight.
And that quiet digital ecosystem has, well, it's fundamentally rewritten the rules of the entire hospitality industry. I mean, we are looking at a global online food delivery market that is projected to hit a staggering $1.85 trillion by 2029.
Wait, trillion?
Yeah.
With a T?
Trillion. With a T. It is a massive migration of capital and, consumer habits.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because think about the last time you ordered a pizza on your phone. You tapped a few buttons, and 30 minutes later, food just magically appeared at your door.
The dream.
Right. Absolute frictionless convenience for you, the diner. But behind that screen, you probably didn't realize you were engaging in this massive, incredibly high-stakes tug of war over profit margins, data ownership, and brand survival.
It really is a battle for the future of dining. And it's happening right inside our pockets.
So let's start with the baseline for this deep dive. The apps that you almost certainly have on your phone right now, the marketplace giants. When we talk about this trillion-dollar scale, what does the footprint of these massive third-party platforms actually look like right now in 2026 and 2027?
Well, the numbers are frankly dizzying. Let's take DoorDash, for example. They are currently sitting on over 42 million active users. They have 1 million riders delivering food, operating in over 4,000 North American cities. And get this, in just the second quarter of 2024 alone, their sales climbed 23% to hit $2.6 billion.
$2.6 billion in a single quarter.
Yeah, and they aren't operating in a vacuum either. Grubhub is blanketing another 4,000 cities across the U.S. and Canada. You have foodpanda operating on this massive global scale.
Right.
Zomato is heavily dominating markets in India, the UAE, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. And then you have platforms like Delivery.com, which has expanded its reach so aggressively that alongside your dinner, they are facilitating laundry, dry cleaning, and grocery deliveries.
I mean, if I'm a local burger joint or a neighborhood Thai place, having instant access to 42 million users sounds like an absolute dream.
Oh, for sure. On paper, it's amazing.
Well, I know that kind of exposure doesn't just come for free. If I want to list my restaurant on one of these giants, what is it actually costing me?
It is a tremendously steep cost. With DoorDash, restaurants are basically pushed into tiered plans. You can do the basic plan, which takes a 20% commission per delivery order.
Okay, 20%.
But if you want more features and a larger delivery radius, you move up to the Plus plan at 25%. And then there is the Premier tier, which takes a massive 29% commission.
29% of the entire check.
Exactly. And foodpanda operates in that same ballpark, taking about 25%. Zomato ranges from 15 to 30%. And they also heavily push their subscription-based Zomato Gold membership to consumers.
Right, which probably hurts the restaurant even more.
Yeah, because it often requires the restaurant to offer even deeper discounts to those Gold members. And Grubhub breaks it down a bit differently, charging a marketing fee that ranges from 5 to 20%, plus an additional 10% delivery fee if the restaurant uses Grubhub's drivers, plus standard order processing fees on top of all that.
Wait. If restaurant profit margins are notoriously razor thin to begin with, I mean, we are talking single digits, maybe 5 or 6% profit for a lot of these independent places. How can they possibly survive handing over 29% of a check to DoorDash?
It's a great question, and it's the core struggle of the industry right now.
Like, I look at these platforms like a high-end digital shopping mall. You get incredible foot traffic because millions of people are already walking around opening the app. But the rent these commissions is astronomical. How does a local business make that math work without just going totally bankrupt?
Well, you have to realize you aren't just paying for delivery, you are buying visibility. When a restaurant signs up for that 29% Premier tier on DoorDash, they aren't just paying a driver to move a bag of food from point A to point B.
Right.
They are paying for the search algorithm.
Meaning what, exactly?
So if a user types the word burger into the app, the algorithm has to decide who appears at the very top of the screen and who gets buried on page 4. The restaurants paying the highest commissions are the ones that get prioritized.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they are paying for instant access to those 42 million active users who might never have walked past their physical storefront in the real world. But to your point about survival, restaurants cannot just magically absorb a 30% hit to their margins. They have to adapt their pricing to make the math work.
So they just inflate the prices on the app.
Precisely. This is why you will frequently see a pad thai that costs, say, $14 on the physical menu in the restaurant, listed for $17 or $18 on the app. The restaurant is paying a premium for customer acquisition, but they are passing a significant portion of that cost right back to the diner.
Which means, for you listening, ordering directly from the restaurant is almost always going to be cheaper because you are basically bypassing that digital mall rent.
Exactly.
But if these platforms are eating 30% of the profits and forcing higher prices, why don't restaurants just band together and use something else? Like, why stay in the mall if the rent is killing you?
Well, they are trying to. Because those commissions are absolutely bleeding independent restaurants dry, there is a massive industry shift currently underway. It's essentially an independence movement.
Interesting.
Yeah, we are seeing a huge surge toward alternative white label models.
White label meaning the platform provides the software, but the restaurant puts their own name and logo on it.
Exactly that. It looks like the restaurant's own app. And the pricing structure flips entirely. Instead of taking a massive bite out of every single order, these platforms charge flat monthly fees.
Okay, like what?
For example, ChowNow. It costs a flat $199 or $275 a month, depending on the tier. But there are 0 commissions per order, none. It is designed specifically for small to mid-sized independent spots.
Wow, okay. $200 a month flat is wildly different than losing 30% of every ticket on a super busy Friday night.
It changes the whole game. And then you have highly scalable options like Cloud Waitress. They actually offer a completely free starter tier if a tiny cafe processes under 100 orders and reservations a month.
Free is pretty good.
Right. From there, it's a $39 a month standard tier, going up to $299 for their fully loaded enterprise level.
Yeah, I was also looking at a few others in the sources, like Jimenez, which focuses really heavily on QR codes and digital menus. They even offer a 7-day free trial just to get restaurants in the door.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
And there's RestroApp, which allows for custom branding on their premium tier, so it looks and feels like the restaurant built their own app from scratch. And platforms like Indulge, which is serving over 400 independent local restaurants right now with these subscription-based tools.
What's fascinating here is, well, the financial savings of a flat fee are obvious, right?
Yeah.
But the real driving force behind this whole white label movement is what I call the data hostage situation.
The data hostage situation. Okay, explain that.
So when a restaurant uses a third-party giant like Zomato or DoorDash, the restaurant does not own the customer relationship. The app does. If you order from your favorite local pizza place through Grubhub, that pizza place doesn't get your email address. They don't get your phone number. Grubhub actively masks that data. They give the driver a burner number to call you.
Because obviously, if the restaurant had my email, they would just email me a coupon directly to order from them next time.
Exactly. The app controls the messaging. A restaurant could sell 500 pizzas in a week on DoorDash, and the following week, they have absolutely no way to contact those 500 people. They just rented those customers for a fee.
Right.
But with white label solutions like ChowNow or Cloud Waitress, the restaurant is taking back control of their own data. They capture the emails, they track the preferences, and they can build their own loyalty programs.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here for a second. I frame this shift as like renting a fully furnished apartment versus renting an empty space.
I like that.
DoorDash is the furnished apartment. It's expensive, sure, but everyone knows where it is. There's a couch, there's a TV. It's totally move-in ready. ChowNow, or Jimenez, is the empty space. You pay a low flat fee, you get to keep your data, which is great, but now you have to do the marketing to get people into the empty space. Isn't the total lack of brand recognition for a white label platform a fatal flaw for a struggling local cafe that doesn't have a massive marketing budget?
It is the absolute core trade-off. You hit the nail on the head. You are trading guaranteed algorithmic exposure for better profit margins and data ownership. If a restaurant goes the white label route, they have to hustle.
Yeah.
They have to actively promote their online ordering everywhere. On their Instagram, printing flyers to put in takeout bags, putting table tents in the dining room. They have to actively train their existing regulars to stop opening DoorDash and start going directly to the restaurant's website.
You have to incentivize them to change their habits.
Right. You have to say, hey, get 10% off if you order directly through our site. It requires a highly proactive business owner. But for those who can successfully migrate that loyal base, the long-term savings compared to a 29% commission are just transformative.
So if platforms like ChowNow are renting an empty space, what if a restaurant looks at all this and says, you know what? I want to build my own house from the ground up.
Oh, boy.
Like, I want total control, 0 subscriptions, 0 commissions, no middleman whatsoever. If I'm a restaurant owner, what is it actually going to cost me to develop a custom standalone app just for my business?
Well, building from scratch is an entirely different league of investment. You are stepping out of the hospitality business and temporarily becoming a software development company.
Right.
The estimated price tag for a custom restaurant app ranges from $15,720 on the absolute low end, all the way up to $37,300 or more.
$37,000. I'm stuck on that number. I mean, at a $10 profit per burger, that's 3,700 burgers you have to sell just to break even on the code. Where's all that money even going?
Let's break down the mechanics of the build, because every single layer adds thousands of dollars. First, you have to choose between building a native app or a cross-platform app.
Meaning what?
So a native app is built specifically for one operating system. You build one app exclusively in Apple's code for iOS and a totally separate app in Google's code for Android.
Oh.
Native apps are incredibly fast. They utilize the phone's hardware perfectly, but you are essentially paying developers to build the exact same house twice. It's incredibly expensive.
And cross-platform.
Cross-platform means you write the code once, and software translates it for both Apple and Android. It's cheaper, but it can sometimes feel a bit clunky or slow.
Okay, so you pick your method. Then what?
Then you need UI/UX design, user interface, and user experience. That's figuring out exactly where the buttons go so a customer doesn't get frustrated trying to, add extra cheese to their order. That design phase alone is $2,000 to $4,000.
Wow. And then the actual coding starts.
Right. You have front-end development, which is the visual app the customer actually interacts with on their phone. That is between $5,000 and $10,000. Then you have back-end development. This is the hidden brain of the app that processes the payments, handles the security, and routes the orders. That is another $5,000 to $10,000. Setting up a secure database to hold customer data is $2,000 to $5,000. And you have to pay for ongoing monthly hosting and SSL certificates.
The SSL certificate.
Secure sockets layer. It's basically the digital padlock that encrypts the customer's credit card data so it doesn't get stolen. You have to maintain all of this security infrastructure yourself.
I mean, even with complete autonomous control over your data, dropping 30 grand on software sounds terrifying for a local business.
And we haven't even touched on the biggest technical nightmare of all.
Which is?
POS integration.
Point of sale.
Exactly, the point of sale system. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the POS is the central nervous system of the restaurant. It's the computers where servers punch in orders and the screens in the kitchen that tell the chefs what to cook. If a restaurant drops $30,000 on a custom app, but it doesn't seamlessly integrate with their existing POS via a software bridge called an API, it creates absolute operational chaos.
Because the orders aren't talking to each other.
Right. Imagine a Friday night rush. A customer places an order on your shiny new custom app. But because it doesn't integrate directly with the kitchen, a separate iPad rings loudly on the counter. A stressed employee now has to walk over, read the order off the iPad, turn around to the main POS system, and manually type in the entire order just to get it to the kitchen. It's called a swivel chair interface.
Oh man, that defeats the entire purpose of automation.
It introduces human error back into the equation, it slows everything down, and it frustrates the staff. Building the API integration to make the app talk directly to the kitchen without human intervention costs thousands of dollars on its own.
That's crazy.
This is why you generally only see large, multi-location franchises or incredibly high-volume independent restaurants taking the custom route. For a small cafe, that upfront capital expenditure is just unjustifiable. But for a larger chain, owning the entire digital experience and never paying a 20% commission again makes that $37,000 look like a total bargain.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the money and the tech side of things. But whether a restaurant is giving 29% to Grubhub, paying $199 a month to ChowNow, or gambling 37 grand on a custom build, I want to talk about how this digital transformation actually changes the daily reality of the food we eat. What does this look like inside the kitchen, and what does it look like for you, the person actually ordering the food?
Well, inside the restaurant, the operational reality is just night and day compared to a decade ago.
Yeah, the human error aspect alone is fascinating to me. Think about the old analog way. The phone is ringing off the hook, the dining room is super loud, the person taking the phone order mishears vegan as bacon, which is a total disaster, and suddenly the kitchen is making the wrong food, food is getting sent back, money is wasted, and there are furious one-star reviews online.
Digital ordering dramatically reduces that specific friction. The customer punches in exactly what they want, they verify it on their own screen, and that data packet goes straight to the kitchen display. It also drastically lowers labor costs. You no longer need to staff 2 employees on a Friday night whose sole job is to just stand at a register holding a telephone to their ear.
Right, you can reallocate those employees to quality control, packing the delivery bags, or you just run a leaner staff overall.
And because every single transaction is digitized, the system is automatically generating ROI reports. The restaurant owner knows exactly what is selling down to the minute. They know that on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., spicy tuna rolls spike, so they can prep the kitchen accordingly.
And speaking of what is selling, what are we actually tapping our screens to order? The data points to pizza remaining the absolute undisputed king of online ordering.
Oh, absolutely.
Which makes sense. It travels well in a cardboard box, but more importantly, it is highly customizable. The digital interface is just perfectly built for pizza. It is so much easier to tap half pepperoni, no onions, extra cheese on the left side on a screen than it is to explain that to a rushed teenager on a telephone.
Yeah, following pizza, the most ordered items digitally are burgers, sushi, and Chinese cuisine. But the very definition of who is delivering this food to you is expanding. The boundaries of the delivery industry are completely blurring.
Right. The logistics networks are becoming totally interchangeable. We are now seeing platforms like Instacart, which built its entire empire on grocery store delivery, stepping in to deliver hot food from select restaurants depending on your location.
This raises an important question, actually, about what consumers value today. It is no longer just about whether the burger tastes incredible. Consumers have been deeply trained by these platforms to demand an entire suite of digital features.
We don't just want food. We want a frictionless psychological experience.
Precisely. Consumers want contactless delivery options. They want real-time GPS tracking. There is a psychological comfort, like a literal dopamine hit in watching that little car icon move on the map.
Oh, for sure.
We want the anxiety-free certainty of knowing exactly where our food is. We want digital loyalty programs that automatically reward us without having to remember to carry a punch card. If a restaurant has amazing food but a frustrating, clunky ordering process where you can't track the driver, they will lose customers to a mediocre restaurant that has a seamless app.
So what does this all mean? The digital experience is now just as critical as the culinary experience. It is the oxygen of the industry. If you aren't optimized digitally, you are basically invisible to a massive segment of the population. We've journeyed from a projected $1.85 trillion market fueled by staggering 29% commissions and algorithmic pay-to-play visibility.
Yeah.
We've looked at the flat fee rebellion where restaurants are fighting to take their customer data back. And we've seen the technical nightmare of $37,000 custom builds and POS integration. Every single one of those paths proves that the restaurant business is now undeniably a technology business.
The plate of hot food on your table is really just the final physical output of a massive, highly optimized digital supply chain.
Which leaves us with a rather provocative final thought to mull over. As restaurants increasingly optimize every single aspect of their businesses, their menus, their kitchen layouts, their staffing entirely around app algorithms, driver travel times, and digital efficiency, are we rapidly approaching an era where the physical restaurant itself becomes obsolete?
Wow. It's heavy.
Think about it. The decor, the ambiance, that quirky neighborhood charm, the physical menus. If 80% of a local restaurant's revenue is eventually coming through a tablet, how long until they just wall off the dining room entirely to save on rent? We could be looking at a future that turns every beloved local eatery into a faceless ghost kitchen tucked away in an industrial park just churning out orders for the algorithm.
A complete shift from hospitality to pure logistics.
Something to think about next time you hit reorder on your phone and watch that little car drive across your screen. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.